So that shooting was pretty cold blood. It's pretty cold-blooded. Mickey Steins was basically just standing right there, just point-blank range. It wasn't 5 feet away. Bang, bang, bang. It seemed like he emptied the clip, too. Shot 5 times. Made sure he shot a headshot. As he's walking out the door, he kind of reaches underneath the chair or whatever and just kind of makes sure there's another bullet that was put into the judge. This is the sheriff that shot the judge. Why did the sheriff shoot the judge? We don't know yet. We don't know yet, but that video of the shooting was pretty brutal. It was like Israel's sick and disgusting bombing of Gaza. You have 200,000 dead in Gaza, West Bank, Palestine. Mostly innocent children bombed like nobody gave a shit. It looked pretty cold-blooded. In Letcher County Courthouse on September 19th, 2024. I'm recording this on October 2nd, and I'm going to put it out there in November. But this just happened a couple days ago. We just had Tim Walz and the damn vice presidential debate, J.D. Vance. So what happened is Letcher County Courthouse, September 19th, 2024, Mickey Steins makes a bunch of phone calls trying to call Mickey Steins' own daughter. So Mickey Steins is trying to call his own daughter from his phone, and he can't get a hold of his own daughter, and then he picks up Kevin Mullins' phone for some reason. Here, let me use your phone. Is he just using your phone? Is he just like, maybe it's a ruse? I can't get a hold of my daughter. Can I use your phone? And then he dials the number, and then her name pops up, which means he had stored it in the phone. I'm not for sure. But Mickey Steins uses his phone to call his daughter. It doesn't go through, and then Mickey Steins picks up Kevin Mullins' phone, and he tries to call his own daughter, and it still doesn't go through. So he couldn't get a hold of his daughter either way. He puts the phone down, shoots Kevin Mullins, and then picks the phone back up again, and then puts it back down, and then walks away. So why did the sheriff, Mickey Steins, kill Judge Kevin Mullins? I don't know. Mickey Steins leaves Kevin Mullins' judge's chambers. Kevin Mullins' phone is still on the desk in the judge's chambers. Mickey Stein has his phone on his person. When Mickey Steins was taken into custody, he told one of the deputies who arrested him that, quote, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid, unquote. They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid. Why would he say something like that? I don't know, but one person's arrest is another person's kidnapping. So maybe he's saying that they're going to get arrested somehow. Oh, yeah, well, maybe I'll just arrest your wife and kid. And so if he's being threatened with an arrest, well, maybe I'll just arrest you right now. But can you arrest a judge? Who are you supposed to take it to? You arrest a judge and then you take him to before the judge? Well, do you find yourself guilty or not guilty? No, I'm going to let myself go. Maybe he felt like there was no damn options. He wanted to arrest the guy, but he can't arrest the guy, so what else is he supposed to do? I want to know how old Mickey Stein's daughter is, too. I've read that she's a minor, but I want to know how young or old. I heard that she was a minor in high school, so that would be an older minor, but that's still a minor nonetheless. What the hell is Kevin Mullins doing talking to his daughter? What was the name that Kevin Mullins used to store Mickey Stein's daughter in his phone, too? If he dials the daughter's number and it just comes up, you know, Mickey Stein's daughter, just her name, well, that's nothing, right? That's nothing much. But maybe there was some sort of nickname. Maybe, you know, the evil wench. Maybe it was sweetheart or sweet pea or even girlfriend. If that's what he had put in the phone as her name, that's something. That's something. Because a lot of people there's innuendos, right? They're saying that Kevin Mullins was involved with Mickey Stein's daughter. And then I heard that it has nothing to do with the daughter whatsoever. It does seem weird to me that the judge would have the minor of the sheriff's. Why do you have my daughter's name in your phone? How many phone numbers does he have in his phone? Does he have like 100? Or does he have like 1,000? If he only has like 100 or less, then that means he knows her. And then how many times did he call her? And then you also had Mickey Steins, who just gave a deposition, like an 8-hour deposition for this 1983 civil rights case that has to do with the deputy sexually abusing prisoners in the judge's chambers. And the judge and Mickey, nobody knew a damn thing. The judge didn't know shit. Kevin Mullins didn't know shit. Mickey Steins didn't know shit. So I think all these questions matter. I think every bit of this matters. So it would be interesting to find out all the information. It was just a preliminary hearing. So do we have probable cause to carry on to the grand jury and then carry on to the petite jury? Do we have probable cause? Well, there is a dead body. We do have videotape of the guy shooting him right in the head. Seems like probable cause. Okay, let's carry on. Now, there was something interesting with the prosecution. I think actually the prosecution fucked up. The prosecution fucked up. They're trying to go for the top charge to use it as leverage. Okay, well, what if we just say attempted murder? Would you accept attempted murder and probation? But sometimes if you go too high, then that means it's like, just, here's $50. Sorry for wasting your time. Mickey Steins is going to resign his position as sheriff. Now he doesn't have official authority and power. I think it's a terrible idea. He shouldn't have done that. But I hear he's going to get retirement benefits, so that's nice. Maybe that's why he did it. The new sheriff of Letcher County was sworn in. His name is Billy Jones. That's such cool names, you know. Mickey Steins, Billy Jones, like Billy. The name's Billy. Billy Jones. Like James Bond. Other info that we learned from the preliminary hearing, there was 4 witnesses, says Detective Clayton Stamper, which essentially they just heard some gunshots. Maybe they knew the argument. They apparently had lunch that day. They had lunch together that day. Cell phone records doesn't capture the apps. We find out from Clayton Stamper, so they're going to find cell phone records just with the telephones. But the apps, there could have been other communications. If he has her daughter, his daughter, and her phone, is he Facebooking her? Is he got Instagram, Bebo, WhatsApp, TikTok? Is he giving all this information? So China knows exactly what the hell is going on. But we don't have any clue here. The detective's name is Clayton Stamper. Kevin Mullins didn't have a gun on him, nor did he have a gun in the chambers, says Detective Clayton Stamper. Clayton Stamper also said that Mickey Steins was calm after he intentionally murdered Kevin Mullins. He was pretty calm. Calm, cool, collected. He's as cool as a cucumber. I just heard one guy on YouTube say it looked like he was a man. Like on A Time to Kill. So he knew something had to go down, did the thing that need to go down. There was a conflict over a 1983 case. That's 42 U.S. 1983. Mickey Steins did an 8-hour deposition. So that deposition is definitely going to be a part of the trial. That lunch, the 4 witnesses, anything and everything. If this goes to trial, and why wouldn't it go to trial? What's he going to accept fucking manslaughter in the first and take life anyways? Just so he doesn't get the death penalty? Just go ahead. Fuck it. Manslaughter. It is actually closer to manslaughter because it's, let me read the manslaughter definition. So murder is if you go to shoot somebody and you intend to shoot him and you do it. This is all important stuff because I think that the prosecution fucked up. They want to push for the highest charge, but it's manslaughter. A person is guilty of manslaughter in the first degree with the intent to cause the death of another person, he or she causes the death of such person or of a third person under circumstances which do not constitute murder. So this is saying, without the extreme emotional disturbance, you had intent to cause the death of the other person, but you caused the death, but it didn't have that exception, or that it doesn't count as murder because of that influence of extreme emotional disturbance. Kentucky has a huge loophole in the murder law, and the huge loophole is if you're not supposed to murder, murder's illegal, you could even get the death penalty for murder, but if you acted under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance, to me that sounds like death penalty. It also seems like it would say something about private police action. It could be anything. Extreme emotional disturbance. You stubbed your toe and then they laughed at you. You motherfucker. Bang, bang, bang. Are you sleeping with my daughter and my wife and son and grandmother and great-grandson, what the fuck are you doing? Bang, bang, bang. You owe me $5, bang, bang, bang. You owe me $1 million, bang, bang, bang. You cheated at cards the other day. Bang, bang, bang. So, manslaughter in the first degree is what it sounds like to me, because the intent to cause the death, and you cause the death, so he definitely 100% intend to cause the death. Is it murder? There is no murder in the first degree, but that under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance is a huge loophole in Kentucky law. So there's a deputy that worked for Mickey Steins. Let's talk about that 1983 civil rights case. So there's a deputy, and I got other information here at the bottom, and it's saying something. You have the deputy had coerced a female drug defendant into having sex in exchange for freeing her from house arrest. She's got an ankle monitor. She's not allowed to leave the house. And so the woman says, hey, how about I'll go ahead and give you this I'll give you this sweet, sweet pussy. And the deputy was like, I will take that pussy, and okay, I will let you get free from house arrest. By taking that pussy, he fucks her in the judge's chambers, Kevin Mullins' chambers. I don't even know why they call it chambers. It looked like a tiny-ass little room. So he's staying in a tiny-ass little room, and they had sex in that tiny-ass little room without Judge Mullins knowing about it. There's a damn video camera right there. There was the video camera running, because then that means you would have evidence right then and there. What the hell is that about? What the hell is that about? So a dead man tells no tales, but a dead man doesn't tell any truth either. A dead man doesn't say a goddamn thing. So the 1983 case was going after the sheriff because they said that he didn't properly train him, or he didn't properly supervise him. You didn't train him right, and you weren't supervising him right. So the deputy is going to get some pussy in order to let her out of her house arrest. They find out about it. He's got a plea charge. He's got a plea. I don't know if he got convicted or plea bargain, but he's got rape charges. Some kind of either sexual assault or just flat out rape, which means there's penetration. Now, a deputy of Mickey Steins was doing that, so it's not Mickey Steins. And it was in the judge's chambers, they're both pleading ignorance. Neither one of these guys knew what the hell was going on. Which in a way, maybe he was running the fucking court, and then the damn sheriff is doing the bailiff, and then the fucking deputy is sitting there having sex with some crack whore in the judge's chambers, and we're going to let the crack whore go because you're not supposed to do that. And then he goes from being a cop, having a license to murder, demoted all the way down to just a damn piece of shit rapist. It just seems weird that the sexual behavior was in the judge's chamber. And then I'm thinking about that video. Does that video have something to do with it? I gotta be honest with you. I feel like I'm on the side of Kevin Mullins. No. I'm on the side of Mickey Steins. I think Mickey Steins did it for a legitimate reason. I think he was under extreme emotional disturbance. And so not only is it not murder in the first degree, it almost might be a good thing. It might be not just he's not, guilty of doing a bad thing, but he's actually guilty of being a good man. Now, Kevin Mullins, is he a perfect victim? I don't think he's a perfect victim. A perfect victim is just a person who didn't do shit and somebody just killed them in cold blood to rob them, to take something from them. A perfect victim is a person who's just sweetly, innocently reading a book underneath a tree, eating an apple, not bothering the goddamn soul. And then somebody just comes right up and pops him in the head and for a laugh, just for the fuck of it, blows their brains out. Now the reason why I think the prosecution fucked up, now pay attention to this, this is the most important part. The prosecution fucked up by pushing for murder in the first degree, which you should get the charge as close to the activity as you can. The definition matters. They're pushing for murder in the first, the top charge. I think that's going to get Mickey Steins off the hook. So I'm going to post this a month later from now because I'd rather people not. Mickey Steins did not just shoot and kill Kevin Mullins for no reason. Mickey Steins didn't just say, fuck it, I'm going to kill that bastard. I don't like his dumb, goofy-looking ass face. Fuck this bastard. No, he either insulted him, humiliated him, or, like he said, they were going to kidnap his wife and kid. They were going to kidnap his wife and kid. Kevin Mullins had a damn kidnapping scheme going on. So I think it's clearly an instance of influence of extreme emotional disturbance. Mickey Steins was clearly under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance. And Mickey Steins is intentional, but not premeditatedly, deliberately killing of Kevin Mullins. Mickey Steins definitely intended to kill him. Did he wake up that morning and say, okay, I'm going to plan on doing this? I don't know if he planned on doing it. I don't think there's premeditated there. I don't know how much deliberation there was. I don't know how much malice of forethought there was. It was 100% intentional. He knowingly and intended to kill that person. But was it under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance? The detective, let's see, I already got his name, Clayton Stamper. He said so far he has not found any evidence that Mickey Steins had planned on murdering Kevin Mullins. No premeditation, no planning. It just happened, spur of the moment, which goes to influence of extreme emotional disturbance. Now I want to talk about the murder charges in Kentucky. This is why the prosecution fucked up. They're going to push for murder in the first, but because you got that major exception, influence of extreme emotional disturbance, murder in the first degree, manslaughter in the first degree, says it's basically murder, except, it's not murder with the extreme emotional disturbance exception. So it's like, it's the same thing, but it's like less, right? It almost seems like it's more in some respects, but basically manslaughter in the first says it's less than murder. Manslaughter sounds worse than murder anyways. What happened? Well, that guy killed that guy. Oh, okay. Well, that guy manslaughtered him. Fucking manslaughtered? He slaughtered that man. Slaughtered the hell out of him. Why didn't he just murder him? Read the definition. Read the definition. Because here's what I think is going to happen. I think that they're going to present murder in the first. It's going to go to a jury. They're going to have that big-ass loophole. And they're going to say, well, he definitely killed him. And he definitely intended to kill him. It seems more like manslaughter to me. I can't convict him of murder. I cannot put a murder charge on this man. Sometimes they'll put 1 or 2 or 3 charges on him. Let's just charge him with reckless murder, manslaughter, and murder. And then eventually one of those, he'll get caught with one of those. But just charging him one charge and it being the top charge, I think a jury will exonerate him because you went too much. You went way above what it actually was. There's 6 murder charges in Kentucky. If you get the charge right, you'll get your conviction. So there's 6 murder charges in Kentucky. You got murder in the first, manslaughter in the first, manslaughter in the second, reckless murder, vehicular murder, and murder of a first responder. That's 6 murder charges. So automatically, it's not murder of a first responder. It's not vehicular murder. It's not reckless murder. He intentionally did it. And then I read the definition of manslaughter in the second, which is wanton murder. When you kill somebody wantonly, it's basically reckless murder. It's almost identical to reckless. When you wantonly murder somebody, you're being reckless. So you're just swinging a gun around. Well, maybe you're playing Russian roulette. You're driving the car real close to the person. You're driving a lawnmower and you're trying to run a person over. You're just sitting there squirting a whole bunch of lighter fluid all over the place, trying to light the whole damn place on fire. You're just wantonly being dangerous. There's a thing called the Morning Star, which is a weapon that's a ball. It's got spikes on it. It's attached to a club with a chain, and it's a Morning Star. So if you're just swinging a Morning Star all over the place, Ralphie, Cipriano, whatever from The Sopranos, he did something like that. He was just swinging this thing, and then it hit the bartender in the face and gave him some major damage to the face. That's wanton endangerment. So one murder would be manslaughter in the second degree. They got specific definitions too. You get vehicular manslaughter, but I think vehicular manslaughter is also manslaughter in the second degree. Then there's also fentanyl. Fentanyl is manslaughter in the second degree. 2, I think. So that means the prosecution is only left with murder in the first and manslaughter in the first. Those are the only 2 options that the prosecution can do. And that's it. There's no murder in the second degree, third degree in Kentucky. Technically, there's no murder in the first degree. It's just murder, period. That's it. Murder, period. In the first degree makes it sound more professional, more smooth and cooler. It's basically the same thing. The murder charges of Kentucky is in Chapter 507 KRS 507. Manslaughter charges 507.030B. So the reason why that matters, because murder in the first, they're not going to get that conviction. If they charge manslaughter in the first, they'll get that conviction. Because that's closer to what it is. But it's actually could be justified either way, either or. But because they went above, they're saying something bigger than what it actually is. Maybe they're trying to put the screws on. They're trying to get leverage. The judge didn't even question it, didn't even think about the defense's argument, because there is probable cause that it's murder in the first, but he didn't even think about the argument that the defense had said, and he said he just wanted to enter this argument into the record, which was smart. That was smart of the defense to do that. So a little bit about the preliminary hearing. The power is immense. It was less than 40 minutes. The evidence is viewed from the prosecution's case, from the prosecution's side, so there's zero chance that the prosecution was not going to get it. It makes no sense not to give somebody a preliminary hearing, especially in lieu of a grand jury. Actually, this is going to go to the grand jury right afterwards. So the evidence is viewed from the prosecution's case. The prosecution just needs to cross the bar of probable cause. They don't have to prove their case, with the preponderance of the evidence or beyond a reasonable doubt. Just that there's probable cause of a crime. Well, there's a dead body. Okay, there could have been a crime. That might be a crime. So the thing carries on. But the defense can cross-examine the witnesses. The defense can ask questions about the evidence. The defense can see what it is, what evidence, what kind of case the prosecution actually has, and what they don't have. So we found out that it wasn't pre-planned, it wasn't premeditated. That's good for Mickey Steins. His defense has got to be, it's not self-defense, and it's not private police action. His only defense is influence of extreme emotional disturbance. You're going to kidnap my wife and kid? Is that what you just said? You motherfucker, you! You're going to kidnap my wife and kid? Bang, 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 bang! You're not going to kidnap my wife and kid. No fucking way are you going to kidnap my wife and kid. So his mens rea, that's Latin for state of mind, wasn't criminal. He wasn't saying, I'm just going to kill you for the hell of it. I'm just going to kill you to take your watch. I'm just going to kill you because you're sleeping with my wife. You're not going to take my wife and my kid. His house, I heard, was $45,000, which seems pretty humble. So it's not self-defense. Is it private police action? He didn't try to arrest him. The judge wasn't trying to resist arrest. He did put the hand up. Judge should have just complied, right? You know what the cops always say about people they shoot on the street? Well, he should have, the guy puts a pill in his mouth. Give me that pill. He should have just obeyed the lawful order. Why didn't the judge just obey the lawful order? Why didn't the judge just comply? The Fifth Amendment, Clause 1, says that you got to have a grand jury indictment. So a preliminary hearing, I think, would be just good enough in lieu of a grand jury indictment. But now it goes before a grand jury on top of the preliminary hearing. So they're really covering all their bases with all the hearings in order to get the conviction. So we've already proven probable cause. Let's put it in front of a grand jury and see if there's probable cause. How many times do we got to see if there's probable cause? 27. And then after 27 times, then it goes to the petite jury. You got the grand jury, and then you got the petite jury, the little jury, the grand jury, and then the regular average jury, the jury that gets the conviction. The grand jury gets the indictment. The indictment means that the felony accusation could go forward. You got to have a grand jury indictment for a felony accusation. And if you don't have a grand jury indictment, then you better have a preliminary hearing. You don't have a grand jury indictment, you don't have a preliminary hearing, get the fuck out of here. So it's going to go to the grand jury next. That seems a little crazy to me, but we've got probable cause hearing number 1, probable cause hearing number 2. Last thing I'll mention is Blackstone's ratio is 10 guilty, go free instead of 1 innocent thrown away. That goes to the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You got to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt is actually a greater threshold than a preponderance of the evidence. So beyond a reasonable doubt, 10 to 1 is this. Blackstone said he'd rather 10 guilty people go free than to put 1 innocent person in jail. What that means is you don't have to be 100% that the person is guilty. You got to be 91%. You got to be 91% for sure that he's guilty. That's the percentage. 10 divided by 11, 90.8 or 9 or some shit. Rounded up, 91%. You got to be for sure 91% or greater that Mickey Steins intended to murder Kevin Mullins in cold blood without extreme emotional disturbance, without a legitimate reason, without a rational reason. And not just for any old rational reason, but for a rational reason that the average man in the jury pool would find reasonable, that the average man in Letcher County would find reasonable. So I'm 100% sure that Mickey Steins intended to kill Kevin Mullins. Not self-defense, not private police action. He's got to say it was extreme emotional disturbance. He was disturbed emotionally, and it was extreme emotional disturbance. I do not believe that Kevin Mullins is a perfect victim. He was part of that deputy sexual benefits case. He had Mickey's daughter's name in his phone. Either that's what it is or there's something else. But he definitely did it for a reason, and he felt as a man that it was a big enough reason to kill that other man. And actually, since he said they were trying to kidnap his wife and daughter, well, as a man, you have a right to defend your wife and daughter. Do you not? This is being held in West Liberty, Kentucky for some reason, which makes no sense to me. It's in front of Rupert Wilhoit and his father. This is Henry Rupert Wilhoit III. His father was Henry Rupert Wilhoit Jr., but he just died 2 years ago at the age of 87. Grayson, Kentucky, there's a whole bunch of facts about it, but Rupert Wilhoit. He just seemed like an asshole to me. He seemed like a typical fucking judge, pampered ass, fucking stuck up fucking judge. And when it came to the murder thing, he was like, yeah, probable cause for murder, definitely. He didn't even consider the defense's argument. All right, sure, I'll let you talk for a second. Yeah, I'll let you talk for a second. He said he wanted to introduce the argument into the record, which he did, and good for him that he did it because he was right. And I think they just fucked up their case. The prosecution and that judge, if they want to convict him, just fucked up that case because it's closer if you're the prosecution to manslaughter in the first. Murder in the first, that's too much. It's too much. You're saying that this man should be killed for defending his wife and child. You're saying that this man who did something honorable and decent and good, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that he killed him for a rational reason. He killed him for a rational reason. He was coming after him, coming after his family. He didn't give a shit. He wasn't letting up. And the sheriff didn't know what to do about it. The sheriff, right? The cops could do no wrong. The sheriffs have a license to kill. How many goddamn innocent people have been killed with anybody? Nobody shrugging their shoulders.